Hey, I'm Akurios and you're welcome to this week's episode of Music Business Monday. And today we're beginning a series on career options in the music industry. And today we're going to be talking about music production. Coming up. I'm going to start like this. The music industry is vast. It's much more complex than we think. It goes beyond just performing and singing, writing songs and recording songs. There's a lot more that goes on that keeps the music industry, the machinery of the music industry working and, preserving itself for centuries. And all these players in the music industry have roles to play that are very, very vital to the sustenance and development of the music industry in whatever part of the world you may find yourself in. And every single part of this music industry, every single player in the music industry is very, very, very important. And these career options are as lucrative as you can make them become. And if you're lucky to be in this part of the world where not many of these career options have been exploited, not many of these career options have been revealed, then you are lucky because there's so much we can do with what we have available. There's so much that we can begin to do, taking a leaf from other industries in different parts of the world. So there are several career options that you can take advantage of. There's several things that you can possibly go into as a lover of music, as a musician with training in music. And, as someone who has acquired some skill and some extra knowledge from other parts, or maybe you have talents within you that you think may not be actually, closely related to music, but you may be surprised to find out that they are actually. That's some of the career opportunities that I'll be mentioning in the course of this series, because some of them may involve skills that are not directly related to music, even though you need a musical background, and some of them may feature some talents and some skills that you already have that, in addition to your musical background, musical training, you can make something work for yourself in the music industry. Now, you have to have an open mind. You have to be broad in your thinking to receive some of the things I'm going to mention in the course of this series, because it's important that you realize that the music industry is a massive mechanism. The machinery of the music industry is kept alive by several players. There are different professionals, different experts at different levels of skill, different kinds of skill, different forms of talent that exist. And you have to realize that all these people have a role to play in the music industry, and no one is inferior to the other, because everyone is playing a part. Everyone is contributing something to keeping the music industry alive. And the music industry has existed and survived several centuries literally, because of the individual contributions that are made by each player in the industry. Now, if there's one thing you're going to take away from this series, I think the most important thing you have to take away from this series is that it's not just about singing, performing, and writing songs. The music industry goes way beyond that. The music industry is kept alive and functioning by much more than writing songs. So if you're interested in learning more about the different career options that we have in the music industry, then you need to follow Music Business Monday closely over the next couple of weeks, because I'm going to be unveiling these career options, how to get into these career options, the skills required, the skills that you need to acquire to enter into them, and how to succeed and make a living from these career opportunities. Number one opportunity in the music industry we need to talk about is the music producer. The music producer is a musically trained professional who oversees the entire process of production of a song or album into a commercial product. The music producer profession is an independent profession on its own. It's not the next level from being a performer or the next level from being a keyboardist or a pianist. It's an independent career path that you would want to take, and you would have to acquire different set of skills. You would have to acquire a whole new world of skills and requirements before you can even begin to operate successfully in this particular profession. Because even as a musician, being a musician before I became a music producer, I realized that there was so much more I needed to learn outside my music, outside, the 4 years of music I had to go through. I was not taught to be a music producer at school. I didn't have any music production courses. I didn't have any software, the classes. I didn't have any music production classes whatsoever. all I did was study music. And I realized very, very quickly that becoming a music producer is much more than being a musician. So it's an independent career path that you would follow, and you need a specific set of skills that are different from being a musician. Yes, being a musician has an advantage. Being a musician has an advantage, and of course the music producer needs to have some certain musical skill to be able to oversee the entire production process of a song, of an album, into a commercial product. So it's important that the music producer understands music. It's important that the music producer, has musical knowledge, but this musical knowledge is not all the music producer needs to possess in order to succeed and make a profitable living from being a music producer. Now, here are some skill requirements the music producer needs to have. Number one, general musicianship. The theory of music goes a long way to help the music producer. It's important that music producer understands the makeup of any musical piece, understands how to create. Composition, very, very important. Arrangement, knowledge of songwriting, the structure of songs, the form of a song. It's important that a music producer has this knowledge and has the ability to craft musical pieces. The form that songs need to take in any kind of production process is important, and the music producer is the one, being the one who oversees this, needs to understand the form that songs take. The music producer also needs to acquire knowledge in the singing process. Now, he or she doesn't have to be a fantastic singer, him or herself, but they have to be able to identify fantastic singing, identify proper singing in clients and artists, in anyone who comes their way. The music producer also needs to have an in-depth knowledge of the use of instrumentation in music, because music is both instrumentation and vocals. So the music producer has to understand the use of instrumentation, has to understand the application of different elements in a musical piece, what kind of drums are required for this song, what kind of snare is required, what kind of toms are going to be used in this song, what is the timbre of the bass guitar that will be required for this particular album, what piano sound will we use. All these are important skills that the music producer needs to possess in order to perform exceptionally. Now, any music producer who has done well with themselves will tell you that a lot of time goes into selecting elements of the mix. A lot of time goes into selecting what type of instruments are going to be used, what type of piano sound. They spend literally hours trying to craft out the correct drum sound. I remember, being at the studio at Instinct Productions, the legend Ambassador Wale Oni studio, and he was talking about how long he spent fine-tuning the sound of the snare drum. Now, the snare drum is just one element of the entire drum set. And he told us how he spent so much time in crafting the snare sound for a particular song that went on to be a massive hit till today. Now, this is an example of what it takes to create that masterpiece that you have seen in your mind's eye. Selecting the correct instruments, selecting the proper elements that will play the role that you want them to play in forming that masterpiece. Now, here are some very, very important non-musical skills that the music producer needs to possess. Very important. Coordination. The music producer has to be a very organized person himself or herself to be able to organize a group of people, to organize a system of processes that are coming together, for it to achieve a particular goal, a single goal. So it takes a very organized person to organize a group of people to achieve a particular goal. So organization and coordination are very important. Now, next is leadership. The music producer needs to be a leader. The music producer has to play that leadership role in motivating, inspiring, and driving other people to achieve and produce the best results that they have to produce in this particular project of creating the commercial song. Now, it's important that this leadership skill is a positive leadership skill. Now, the music producer is not supposed to be a slave driver, a boss who imposes responsibilities on other people and damages relationships and all that. And we'll talk about that later. The music producer has to be a leader, has to take up that responsibility of helping, motivating, inspiring the members of the team to play their different roles and play them well so that the end product, which is the commercial song, the commercial product, the song, the album, the record, is a success. It's also important to mention people skills. People skills are important in the life of any music producer, wherever you are, in whatever part of the world you come from or you are based in. Now, having emotional intelligence is one of the best things that will happen to you. Learn it, read about it, study emotional intelligence and acquire it for yourself. It goes a long way to, help in achieving the success that you're looking for in any project that you're involved in. It's very important, being able to manage different character types. Different people are going to walk into your studio. Different people are going to walk into your projects. Different types and different natures and different, forms of personalities are going to come into your space. It's important that you learn how to manage these different types of people and how to, use their skills and their resources in order to achieve the big picture. Now, you have to just put your pride and your ego aside and deal with people with one thing in your mind: the success of the entire project. The music producer also needs to have technical software skills, because softwares in today's 2020 music production world, softwares play a massive role in creating the music that we hear, the music that we listen to, the music that is commercially released to the general public. Softwares play a massive role. So the music producer has to have a solid knowledge of recording softwares, mixing software, different types of plugins and accessories that we use to create music. That's important. The music producer also needs to have recording skills, the ability to record vocals, ability to record guitar, ability to record a band. You have to have the idea at least. Even if you're going to employ the services of a recordist or recording engineer or mix engineer, it's important that you know what the thing involves so that you can still officially and successfully oversee the entire project. Because even if someone else is running the tracking, you have to understand everything that is going on in the background and all the workings of the recording process so that your inputs and contributions are reasonable and everything that happens in that recording session is a step closer to the goal of achieving that commercial product. The music producer also needs to possess music business skills. It's important that the music producer understands how the music industry works, what goes and what doesn't go, the different players in the music industry that will help that product, that commercial release be successful. So it's important that the music producer, from the very first recording in the studio, knows how to create a product that will do well in the market. The whole point of releasing a song commercially is so that the general public receives it and sees it as something that is valuable. So the music producer, from the very first connection of the very first mic, has at the back of his or her mind that this has to be a successful commercial release. This has to be accepted by the general public. So the music producer does everything he or she has to do and has to know every single thing they have to do and everyone who has to be involved in the process of releasing this song to the general public, of ensuring that the song is a success. So a sound knowledge of the music industry and how the music industry works and what goes and what doesn't go, what can succeed and what cannot succeed, the different tools that will help the song be a success. The music producer has to possess all these skills. Now, how do you become a music producer?